He went from being an abandoned kid to becoming one of football's superstars. This is the story of Kevin de Bruyne. Growing up, little Kevin was already shooting down every pot he could find in his garden. So his mom and dad made him play with only his weaker foot until they took him to his local club, KVV Drogen. But as soon as he got in, Kevin started aiming for the top. He already had a strong character for a kid, and one day he got bored and he told his coach the training sessions are better at Ghent and left them. But there, things got a little tougher, because Kevin was a talent who just wanted to make it to the top, but he was also very quiet and socially awkward. So many players and even the coaches didn't understand him and tried to make him more normal. But Kevin was determined. And one time he got so tired of them, he wanted to make sure he was heard. So he refused to let go of the goalpost until nighttime. They just couldn't break him. But Kevin's talent was already showing up. And not long after, it happened. Genk were aware that Kevin was unhappy. So they told him, "Kevin, you gotta come play for us." And that's when his life would change forever. This decision meant Kevin would move all the way across the country by himself. And being a shy kid, living in a boarding school, trying to follow your dream, it can get really tough.
Were probably the loneliest years I will ever have, because on the one side I lost everybody, and on the other side I'm trying to build something.
That's when Genk decided it was time to make things easier. They made an arrangement to send some of the boys to foster families to help him grow. Now Kevin would be okay. He'd have a family to take care of him, feed him, make him feel safe, and everything was going fine. He was doing good in school, doing good in football, no fights, no problems. But little did he know that his world was about to start crumbling. Summer had arrived, and after the first year with his new family, he was going back home, and everything seemed normal. He said goodbye to his foster mom and dad and couldn't wait to come back next year. But when he got home, he saw his mom was crying. Kevin was confused and asked his mom what happened, and then her words just struck him. "The foster parents don't want you to come back anymore. It's because of who you are. You're very quiet, very difficult to interact. They just find you difficult."
As a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, you're like, yeah, it's not nice to hear, because in the end, I'm just a quiet person, shy person. And that's been given to me as difficult.
Kevin was heartbroken. Now, normal kids, they'd probably do something like run away. But Kevin, he picked up the only thing that could comfort him, his ball. And for hours, he kept hitting it hard against the fence. It's because of who you are. But now he had a big problem, because he wasn't just abandoned by his foster family. In everyone's eyes, he was a troublesome kid. No one was going to take him in. So Kevin had no other choice but to go back to the boarding school. But now, things were about to get even harder, because they sent him to a special home for problematic kids. That could be the end. So long, football. But Kevin had other ideas, and that's when he came up with a plan that was going to either take him all the way up or send him back home. Right then and there, he decided, I am going to be in the first team no matter what. He had a mission now: get into the team in 2 months. So he just had to step up his game. But now, Kevin had a fire inside him, and he just couldn't control it. It was maddening. He needed to prove to everybody that he wasn't a failure. By this time, he was already playing for Genk's second team. And one night, 1 goal, they don't want you anymore. 2 goals, too quiet. 3 goals, too difficult. 4 goals, they don't want you anymore. 5 goals, because of who you are. He scored 5 goals in a single half of football. And after only 1 month of preparation, he was on the first team. Kevin did it! But then, out of nowhere, some familiar faces showed up. Kevin was starting to make a name for himself, so his foster parents thought the time couldn't be more right for a reunion. But
you don't want me, I don't care. I don't care about you guys anymore. You know, I was nice to you. You didn't have the decency to say it. I'm 17 years old, I will say it to your face. I don't like you anymore.
All that weight, all those things he kept inside of him, all those unspoken words had finally come out. Kevin was free, but the fire was still there. And now, it was time to fight his way to the top. And when he finally got the hang of the league in his third season, he took it by storm. 5 goals and 16 assists, leading Genk to win their third league title in their history. All the pieces were starting to come together. And before the end of the year, some big news came in. His national team debut, playing with the big boys, all that Kevin had been hoping for. And one by one, they all started to see it.
We could have done with some more talent in the team, and just anyway, time went by and then things happened, and all of a sudden, before you knew, that was like, it's the best player we have. So I knew it all the time.
Kevin was starting to catch people's attention. Soon, everyone in Belgium knew his name. The word that Belgium had a new young talent spread fast. And in 2012, Chelsea signed Kevin from Genk for $7 million.
They are all great players, and yeah, I'm just a young player who wants to achieve or to reach that level.
Chelsea were investing in the future, and they had a plan. Send Kevin on loan in the first year and then come back. So before he could get a chance in the team, they sent him out to Werder Bremen. And now, playing in the Bundesliga, Kevin knew if he wanted to accomplish his dreams, he had to step up his game. And he just went off. He pulled off 10 goals and 9 assists and took the award for Young Player of the Year. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's a mission accomplished. Time to take over the Premier League. Only, Kevin didn't know it yet, but a storm was coming. Kevin found out that his girlfriend was cheating on him with his friend and international teammate Thibaut Courtois. She even came out to say Courtois gave her more in one night than Kevin had ever given her. Now, seeing Kevin at that moment, he wasn't himself. He hit a low point. And the truth was he wasn't performing well. And Marino didn't think he could make it at Chelsea. So when Wolfsburg offered $18 million for him, Kevin was sold after just half a season. His time at Chelsea was over. But that was about to be his biggest blessing. Because in Germany, he met his future wife, and she changed his life. Now, Kevin had someone he could talk to, someone who would understand him. She helped him open up more and see things differently. He was happy, and he became unstoppable. He collected record-breaking performances. 16 goals and 27 assists led Wolfsburg to a cup title and a second place in the Bundesliga. And to cap it all off, he won the league's Player of the Year award and got nominated for the Ballon d'Or. But something still wasn't right. Kevin had this feeling inside of him. Deep down, he knew that in England he was still seen as a Chelsea reject, a flop. He needed to come back and prove himself. So even though he had every big club wanting him, when it came to decision day, it was easy. But that's when things got scary, because Kevin and his wife were already about to have their first child. And one morning, his wife woke up and she was bleeding. Kevin panicked. He felt helpless. In that hospital hallway, he came to realize that there was much more to life than just football. And though in the end everyone was okay, he felt that now he was part of something bigger than himself. And he knew he'd never be the same player. Because now, it wasn't fire that was fueling him. It was love. And 1 year after Kevin joined Man City, one man arrived, and he would change his life forever. Guardiola immediately knew just how good Kevin was. So one day, he pulled him aside and he told him, "You can be one of the top 5 players in the world, easily." At the end of the day, that was all it took. After being cast aside all those years for being different, now Kevin had someone fully supporting him. And in the 17-18 season, Kevin topped the assist charts with 16 assists and led City to dominate the league, becoming the first club ever to hit 100 points. And he wasn't just doing it at club level alone, because at the World Cup, he led Belgium to their highest achievement ever, winning the bronze medal. But just like the story of Kevin's life so far, soon, his life came crashing down again. The day after his second son was born, he tore his knee ligaments and couldn't even walk. Now Kevin, he doesn't cry, not at weddings or funerals, or even the birth of his kids. But when this injury happened, everything changed, because for the first time in his life, he was afraid that all his sacrifice went to waste, that the one thing that had given him joy was gonna go away. He broke down crying. But with the help of his wife and people around him, soon he was playing again. He found his best form and picked up from where he left off. Since then, Kevin tied the Premier League's all-time assist record, was named the best player in the league, won the Premier League title, reached the Champions League final, and the Ballon d'Or rankings now considered him a top 10 player in the world. That was it. Everything Kevin has ever dreamed of since he was a little kid was now a reality.
Everything I did in my path as a youth player was everything to become a football player. There were difficult decisions. For me, they seemed easy at the time, but if you look back at the decision that I made, it's not what everybody would do in their life.
Kevin looked back on his life and realized the void had been filled. He felt at home.
I've got my family, I've got kids, I've got more than I ever need. Okay, this is what we signed up for, to be fair.
Kevin is one of the best players I ever seen in my life. He can make absolutely everything. Everything.
De Bruyne is world class.
Kevin de Bruyne! Oh, wow, that's brilliant! That is magnificent!
Genius. Never mind Kevin de Bruyne. It's Heaven de Bruyne.